Safer project, if you haven't heard of it, is a big lottery funded project, and we're out in the community across West Yorkshire raising awareness of scams, frauds and doorstep crime as well.
Sometimes you're I'm a bit too trusting, you know, when somebody comes to the door, I'm very, and it's made me think more since the lady came and told us about all the things that did happen. It's made me think more about who I tell what to or let in.
As you get older, you get a bit muddled up and confused.
Well, yeah, you do.
That there's always something new on the horizon. I thought I'd heard them all. I haven't heard any of them.
It was very, very useful and a total eye-opener, even to me. I thought that I knew all the scams that were going, but quite clearly I don't. And I think a lot of the members felt the same, that they thought they'd been there, done that, and now they've learnt a lot, because there are people out there after your money. Yes, there were quite a few we hadn't heard of, and you don't realise people are that audacious about taking your things, but they are. And I know how upsetting it is to have your identity stolen, and that's, for somebody my age, I think if it happened to some of the older folks, it would be very distressing indeed. I'm just glad that they're doing it and making these things so commonplace that everybody knows before they get that letter through the post, oh, this is a scam, I won't go for that.
Lots of tips, you know, what to do and what not to do, and you know, about callers coming and to be aware and look through your window and make sure who's at your door.
The biggest thing that come out of it were the little bits of aids that were available and given out as free gifts, like door locks and little yellow reminders that you put on inside the door. And a daft little thing like a silver tile that you just put at eye height on the inside of your door, so if you opened it you could see them even though lock were on. I know 3 or 4 that's using them, that's living round near me, that come to these. Because she come back after, I don't know, 3 months or something like that, you know, and asking the same questions. And you ought to have heard the response that come out of them. Not just 1 or 2, dozens of them remembered what it was about. All right, they might not retain it in the memory forever and ever, but if they get into the attitude of just being careful, and it's so easy at this time of year for somebody to knock on your door and you just go and open it without thinking. I do. Just go and open it without thinking, don't you? And just these little reminders that's there makes you think. And I make them go to the window now so I can see them.
So I'm going to talk to you today about benefits and some money saving tips. Anytime if you've got any questions, please stop.
Today's session was absolutely excellent. I just didn't realise it was on such a grand scale, and it's quite disturbing, but it was an excellent presentation. I really enjoyed it. Yes, I will go back and we will do a talk, virtually what I've listened to today. We'll go through it and we'll help our service users, you know, in any way we can, and explain to them the downfalls and of certain things and that, So it will really help. It'll make our service users more aware of what's going on, because sometimes they are a little bit sheltered.
It's been good, yeah. I mean, we meet a lot of elderly people who are obviously quite vulnerable. And I'm not actually going out there to check on the vulnerability. I do all the handyman services for them. But you often think, this person really needs somebody looking out for them. So it's been a good session really. It's pointed out a few things which I can mention to them, because the number of houses I go to and you see piles of mail that they keep piled at the side of the chair, wherever they are. And they're obviously going through it thinking, well, I'm going to win some money here. So it's good to think that really I ought to be able to passing that information on, that they're just sitting on stuff and maybe trying to win money that's never going to arrive.
I've actually learnt quite a lot about the different sorts of scams, because I thought they were just telephone ones and email ones. I think it's been interesting to learn sort of about the psychology behind how people respond to these scams. So what really stuck out to me was the process of like filling in different steps, and that you're more likely to complete the form if you do all of the steps. Especially going into sort of vulnerable adults' homes and things, I'll know what to look out for.
The training was delivered to a number of frontline police officers whose awareness of these really problematic issues in society has been raised as a result of them attending, particularly in relation to scams and what to look out for when visiting vulnerable people and victims of crime. Well, the impact is that the officers that are dealing with the older people have a greater awareness of the issues around these types of frauds. So the officers themselves are more aware, which means that they can better educate older people and try and identify and help them where there is an issue. And of course, as a result of that, the relationship with trading standards has been improved, whereby the officers have a named individual that they can approach now rather than just to send an email to a trading standards address. Certainly officers have awareness surrounding itinerant traders. They certainly have an awareness of doorstep crime. But what became apparent from the training delivery, that officers were not aware of the types of mail scam and email scam and telephone scams that are being committed on a daily basis around the country. So that's been a real positive thing, that those officers have that greater awareness of those issues.
What we do now when we go to our home fire safety checks, we speak to people and we're asking them if they've received letters. We look at whether the hoarding letters or envelopes or promotional material, we look for those things anyway, but then we actually now actively ask them if they're receiving any scam letters or emails. People tend to like us. It's a good thing. We pull up on the fire engine, we get off with our uniforms, we have our name badges. People are willing to let us in, they want to talk to us, and they seem to trust us, they listen, we build up a good rapport, and they're happy to tell us things when we ask them. Oh yeah, I wasn't aware previously of all the different types of scams that are available, so it's opened my eyes to all the different things that people can be targeted with. It has made me more aware to ask the elderly as well when we go visit them. So moving forwards, it's something that we will keep checking for, and hopefully we can stop.
Hopefully, as time permits in the coming months and years, it would be a great ambition to try and get all officers trained and their awareness improved. But of course, that will depend on funding, etc. Of the Safer project. It's got to be a positive thing. Raising people's awareness stops them becoming a victim of this type of scam and fraud. So in order to keep that going, the project must continue if at all possible.